Bringing down inflation was one of President Trump's key platforms during the campaign, but prices are still high, and more Americans are placing the blame squarely on the president. That new NBC News polling shows 45% of Americans strongly disapprove of the president's handling of inflation and the cost of living. And some Democrats see an opening. Michigan Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow just released this new campaign ad taking on President Trump's economic record directly. Watch.
Everything's getting more expensive. All the while, Donald Trump is telling us that
prices are down at tremendous numbers,
while he's selling us out to the same corporations who are jacking up prices on the things that we love. And look, on this campaign, we are talking about creating a new American dream. A lot of times, that's the big stuff. Making sure you can afford to buy a house, you can afford to start a family, you can afford to save for retirement. Sometimes, it's just making sure that you can afford to take a break on Sundays without breaking the bank.
Joining us now is Democratic Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow. She's running for the state's open U.S. Senate seat. State Senator, thank you for joining us. You have an ad with a simple message that is reflected in how voters feel, that Trump's economy is not working for Americans. So what are you hearing from your constituents, and what needs to be the Democratic message on this issue?
Look, it's simple. Everything is too expensive. And yeah, it is the big stuff. It's housing costs, it's health insurance, it's the big bad bill. But it's also, we just want to take a break on Sundays. We want to watch football. We want to crack a beer open. We want to have some wings. We want to have friends over. And even that is more expensive. You know, the fact that NFL Red Zone was sold as 7 hours of commercial-free football. So now you pay for it, and there are commercials on top of it. And we know that this administration is not going to push back.
The new NBC News poll also found that 58% of Americans are looking right now for a politician to fight this fight as an insider rather than as an outsider, to shake all these things up. And I'm curious what you make of that and how it may impact the dynamics of your race in Michigan.
I mean, I'm really excited about this because we have an opportunity in Michigan to show voters that you don't have to settle. So I am the only candidate running in this race who beat a Republican incumbent to get into the state Senate in 2018. Then I raised millions of dollars for a dozen other candidates and helped flip control of an entire chamber for the first time since 1984. I am currently the Senate Majority Whip in the state of Michigan and was part of a historic Democratic trifecta that lowered costs, that expanded housing, that protected fundamental rights. And I've shown that I can be a new generation who can stand up, who can fight back and grab attention, like this video that we put out today about Football Sunday has already generated almost 1 million views on Twitter alone. People are sharing it like wildfire. And this is the chance that we have. So I would encourage anybody who's looking for the best of all worlds, where we don't have to settle, we can fight back, and we can show how we can get things done, to head to McMorrowforMichigan.com and join us.
State Senator, I wanted to ask you if I can. Michigan is in a unique position, and we've talked about this in the past, even in the previous election, but it has a sizable Arab American community, a sizable Muslim community. The issue of Gaza and foreign policy has become front and center in Democratic politics. We're seeing that play out right here in New York City. It has obviously created a very important debate within Democratic Party politics. If you are elected senator, would you support selling weapons to Israel, or continued support for Israel militarily as it's going on with its, as reported by human rights organizations, genocide in Gaza?
Yeah, I came out publicly and said I would support the resolution that would stop offensive arms sales to Israel. And it's important because the humanitarian crisis in Gaza has to be addressed immediately. This has come up. I'm in at every single public event that I've done, especially over the last few weeks. And for good reason. People are watching what's happening with their own eyes, and it breaks their heart. You cannot let Benjamin Netanyahu tell you what you see with your own eyes is not happening. So Senator Slotkin came out with a very similar statement saying we have to use the leverage that we have as the United States and push them to flood as much aid into Gaza as possible to effectively make it valueless for Hamas. So they can't steal the aid, they can't steal the food, they can't send it into the tunnels, all of those arguments. We have to solve that crisis first. And look, I come at this from a human perspective. There is no life that is worth more than any other life. I believe deeply in my soul in long-term peace and security for Palestinians and long-term peace and security for Israelis, a majority of which, by the way, do not support Benjamin Netanyahu right now. So that has to be where we come at this issue as the United States of America. And you're right, Michigan has a heightened responsibility to play a lead role here. And that is what I am hearing from my constituents.
So just to follow up on that, Benjamin Netanyahu is an indicted war criminal. As a senator, would you meet with him? There have been Democrats who have met with him, and it's a bit hypocritical to condemn Vladimir Putin, who is an indicted war criminal, even though Trump has given him a red carpet treatment here in Alaska. Yet Democrats are meeting with Netanyahu, an indicted war criminal. Would you, as a sitting senator, meet with Netanyahu?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is how refreshing to have a politician just answer a question in a straightforward way. So I guess as a final question, I would just ask you, as you know, the tariffs are in disarray, but currently enacted and having a lot of impact in Michigan, the auto industry is suffering. What do you think is the first thing that needs to be done at the federal level to help the economic straits of Michigan?
So we have to repeal a majority of these tariffs. To be very clear, there was a world in which Donald Trump announced the first round of tariffs specifically within the auto industry. The UAW came out in support, and a smart, targeted trade policy that undoes a lot of the damage of NAFTA can be good for a state like Michigan. It can bring on a second or third shift back into some of our plants. But what we're seeing now is these blanket reciprocal tariffs on just about every single product we buy as Americans, as Michiganders, that is just driving prices through the roof on everything from clothes to shoes to beer to chicken wings to housing costs. That is crushing Michiganders. We have some of the highest unemployment rates in the entire country. And I say to everybody, we're the canary in the coal mine. So that the benefit that you might see from bringing that shift back online at Lake Orion, for example, where GM did announce they're going to bring a shift back, that is completely reduced, and then some, with all of the tariffs on everything that people buy.
State Senator Mallory McMorrow, we thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.